Where the fuck is Spotify? Okay. What up, boys? How you guys doing? Dizzy, Mike, Boba. Lord of Hogs. I don't know. We need a D-roll just to check. Well, I don't know how high it goes on the second rating, but that's pretty damn high. What's the highest we've seen? 12.4 is probably actually the highest I've seen. 12.5 is the max? Damn. Have we gotten to 12.5 yet? Wee. Read them and weep, boys. Yeah, I think Otter had a 12.5 a day ago. Damn. Of course it's Otter. Fuck. Oops. One second, one second. Just arting. I also played the Rain Worlds DLC. It's not enjoyable, which is perfect for a masochist like me. What's Rain World? What's the DLC of? Like what's the main game? What the fuck? I think my clip's about to crash. Rare moment. Okay, never mind. There we go. We're good. I like that better. Lord of Hogs doesn't need a big hog. That's true. He commands all the smaller hogs. I just think they're neat. Lord of Virginity based. Like that 10.2 you got there. Oh, I try. I try. The DLC just adds a new campaign to the game. What game though? Is Rain Worlds is the game? Okay. I've never heard of it. The Scugs mic draws are from there? Oh, okay. I gotta look up this game then. Give me a second here. Let me look up. What's it called? Rain World? Oh, yeah. You've talked to me about this before. Oh my god, dude. I'm such a dumbass. I feel like I genuinely think my memory is like fucked. I don't know. I don't remember shit. I was with my buddies yesterday, and they were talking about stuff, and they were like mentioning things by name that we were like talking about like months ago, and I was like, I don't remember any of this shit, dude. I'm gonna be fucked when I'm older, dude. I might unironically need a brain chip in the future. I don't think my brain's gonna survive into my late 60s and 70s. Everything I do, or like when it comes to learning new stuff, is just like brute force. I have to fucking pound it down like 50 times to get it in my brain. Would it help if I gave you brain? I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. Brain transplants. I don't want to get. It make me even gayer though if you gave me part of your brain, dude. More hetero gay though. The ironic kind of gay. Guys, if I speak nonsense today, it's mostly because I went out drinking last night. I'm not hungover, but my brain is definitely dehydrated. It's probably smaller. It's like a raisin to a grape, a little bit, all shriveled up, and so I'm not gonna be as quick with it today. I'm gonna be a little loopy, which is fine. Cat's neck slightly gay today. There you go. I'm hoping to get a lot more done on this guy. I feel like I'm just gonna sort of block in general silhouette and shapes and stuff. Try to clean up some things. But I would like to actually get some shit done on this dude. I think this arm position could be a little bit different. Okay, maybe clip is gonna crash. What the fuck? How are you, Snack? I'm good. I'm fine. Like I'm fine. Just a little. I woke up with like a dry mouth this morning, but no hangover, nothing. I'm good. I didn't drink that much. I went to an Austin Powers viewing party. I know the freaking movie came out like 20 years ago, but still. I will say the first Austin Powers, we're supposed to watch like the trilogy, and I watched the first one last night, and I don't know if it was because I was drunk or what, but I just didn't find it that funny. I think it was, I don't know, like it was definitely like I think the second and third one are probably better from what I remember. Gold member, like the third Austin Powers, I remember being one of the better ones with Fat Bastard. Actually, he might be in the second one too. But who wants to share my breakfast of champions? What are you eating? With that though, I assume you're talking about her breakfast and not my Austin Powers rant. Clam strips and fries. Oops. Don't wanna. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does. That probably makes more sense. Clam strips is my stage name. Victoria, I'm sad you haven't sent me a photo. A photo of what, my red dress? The breakfast of champions. What are clam strips? I gotta look this up, dude. You guys got me Googling everything so early. Clam strips. Oh, okay. They're like fucking deep fried clams. One sec. I'll pull it up on screen so you guys can see. This is allegedly what what clam strips are. This is literally what you're eating because I see the fries here. That shit looks good as fuck though. I will not lie. Clam strip sounds like a name for your lady parts. It kind of does. I'm a fan of all clams. I'll never criticize. I love clams, dude. I love seafood. I feel like seafood is it's not slept on, but I'll never understand people who don't like fish. Can we get some brain rot on the side? Brain rot on the side. What do you mean? I don't like fish, but if it's good for my hair, then I'm eating all of it. You can just take omega threes, dude. You don't need to gobble up food you don't like. I do really like fish though. What don't you like about fish? I need to like decipher the mind of a fish hater because I love fish. I get okay. I guess I kind of can get why people wouldn't like it, but not all fish taste the same. You know, salmon versus tuna is going to be very different. I love salmon. I love tuna too, but I mostly love salmon. Sardines. I eat sardines all the time. Maybe this should bow out like this. I'm trying to think, what would my forearm look like if I was okay? It would probably taper a little sooner. Finding every fucking bone part is what makes me not like it. Yeah, that's fair, I guess. I feel like, you know, if fish is like properly cooked or properly sourced, you probably shouldn't be getting a lot of bones. I don't remember the last time I ate a lot of bones. I feel like you're probably like if you're fishing, then yeah, you'll probably get some bones. But if you're getting like factory processed fish, it's probably less bones. I don't know. Maybe that's just my experience. Maybe Canadian fish is like better filtered. I also mostly eat canned fish, so even if there are bones, it's like you can just eat them. Oops, misclick. Never had it. Looks yummy. What are you talking about? Misclick on what? Fish hater, do you like Caesar salad? I like Caesar salad, but that's not that's pig because you put bacon bits in Caesar salad and Parmesan cheese. Caesar dressings is anchovies. Mmm, yummy. Is it like that in like the fucking store bought like dressings too? It probably isn't. I feel like it would go bad unless they got like crazy preservatives, which is possible. Most things have a shit ton of like preservatives, so I posted this drawing by the way in like some random Facebook art group, and the first comment I got, keep in mind I wasn't asking for critiques. The first comment I got were her legs are too short, which fair. Her legs are pretty long. Stylistically, I don't hate the look though. I think it's like kind of appealing personally. But he was like, "Yeah, you need to make the calves longer." I was like, "Bitch, I wasn't asking for feedback, okay? I know she's long, like she's got long humerus muscle bones, but who cares? I don't. Let my long-legged lady live. You ever seen that meme with like the chick who's like on that dating show or whatever, and then and then the guy's like, "Why your knees all the way down there?" She's like, I'm long-legged, sir." That's what she is. She's long-legged. Why your knees all the way down there? Oh hell no! Why your knees down there? Love that clip, dude. Dude, I want more coffee so bad. Shows how much I exercise. Had to look up a pistol squat. We had to do pistol squats when I played hockey all the time. We called it shooting the duck. You like you're on skates, and it was like a drill. So you got your cage or whatever, and then you gotta squat down on one skate and shoot your leg out like this, and they call it shooting the duck. This is not what skates look like, but pretend it is, okay? That kind of looks like something else. Not what I meant to draw, but not a goose step. Okay. Snack rollerblader? No, on ice. Ice hockey. But I do rollerblade. I know how to rollerblade. Not whatever the fucking one with the four wheels is. I can do that not well though. I skate on rollerblades. The rollerblade that looks like this. These are the rollerblades I use. Not these. No. Yes. And then also skates. Skates I'm the best at, for sure. Mostly just because I've done it my entire life. I started playing hockey when I was like 10 and then played into my like pretty much like mid 20s. Every Canadian kid plays hockey. I don't know what it is. It's just like huge here. The second you become like a like honestly, a lot of kids start at like age 6. My brother started at age 6. I started a little late, but roller skates are the disco ones. Yeah, but which one are inline? Are they the one with like the fucking the wheels that go like this, or the wheels that go like this? I think the straight stack of wheels is like the inline ones, right? Inline have wheels in line. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Duh. Okay. So what are the other wheels called? Four-wheel drive? I feel like this needs to be a little bit more curved over here. I want a better bend on the just a little bit of a bend on there. That versus that. This is definitely maybe not that curved, just a subtle curve. And then maybe I could bend this in. Will that look nice? It's fine as is. A little bit of a curve feels better. I know, that's what I'm saying. BRB? Alright, I'll BRH. Be right here, baby girl. I do kind of want to tackle the shoes. I want to tackle a lot of shit. Let me, I gotta take a picture of my hand so I can reference. Let me just grab something so it looks like I'm holding something in my hand. Give me a second here. God, it's so tough to get the angle right. I need the light on. Can't see shit. Okay. Okay, I got my reference image. Now I can hopefully draw this freaking hand over here. Alright. Hand reveal once again. I mean, you've seen my hand. I've shown you my hand a billion times. It's probably the only limb you've seen. Well, some of you. Just kidding. Okay, dude. I cannot keep listening to fucking Kanye West. Why is he on every playlist, dude? Alright. Let me. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Let me see what I can switch up here. Do Dizzy's playlist? Alright, fine. I'll do Dizzy's playlist. Dizzy's playlist incoming. Dizzy. No, that's. I don't know why I typed Dizzy into there. I just typed cat snack. That'll find it for me. There's a band called Cat Snake. There's a lot of people called Cat Snake. I've seen your foot, Daddy. I think a lot of you guys have seen my foot. Show us the third leg. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Uh, is Cat Snake a hermaphrodite? I have no idea. That's way beyond my intellect. I can't conceive of anything like that. Are snakes hermaphrodites? Cat snake. No, not cat snake. What am I saying? Cat snake. Hit. Oh, no, fuck. Didn't want to do that shit. No, 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 no. I didn't want to click on that one. I was trying to open all of your playlists, Dizzy, and I accidentally clicked on some girly pop one. Not that I hate girly pop, but what do I want to listen to? Which one do you guys want? I guess you wouldn't know because you can't see my screen, but I'm gonna go repost sing-alongs. That's very funny. Um, I guess we'll just go pop. Glad Sask. Uh-oh, we got a freaking master sculptor in chat. Dude, I'm freaking blushing. We got another streamer in here. Shit, I'm kicking my feet. How you doing, Sask? I'm looking for a playlist right now. Okay. You know what? Just we'll do girly pop. All right, we'll do girly pop. Which one are we doing? We'll do this one. What is this? It's got some Sabrina Carpenter in it. For sure it does. There we go. Look at us, guys. Doing fine. I'm wasting my time playing. What are you playing? What's the flavor of the week for gaming, dude? You're talking to a notoriously bad gamer. I'm a non-gamer, okay? I'm a freaking normie. League? Oh, I see what kind of person you are, dude. I'm judging you. Just saying. Valorant would have been on brand for Twitch. League? Hmm. Hmm. Oh wow, normie. I know. I'm the worst kind of person. I, as Lord of the Hogs, declare this day of mourning for Otter's hog. Otter, I think Dizzy almost got a bigger dick roll than you did the other day. He got a 12.4, which is not quite maxing out, but pretty damn close. If I don't say so myself. If I sound like Porky Pig stuttering all the time, guys, I got a caveat today's stream. I went out drinking last night, and my brain is like a shriveled raisin. So, if I don't make a lot of sense, or I'm stuttering all the time, that's why. Anyways, but yeah, how you doing? Otter? What up? Welcome back. Hello, my pookies. Hello. NFT, you're big in my eyes. You're all big in my eyes, dude. In my eyes, you're all swanging hog, dude. You're all hung as fuck. All right. My entire chat. If you're in my chat, dude, you're big dicked. I don't make the rules. All right. That's just the way it is. This chat is full of freaks. This is true. We are definitely a little freaky. We got some that are a little bit let their freak flag fly a little higher. You guys like that alliteration? Wait, where's the hog rating? The whole rating. We're not adding a whole rating, guys. Dick ratings are enough. I already did consent to the dick rating. All right. No freaking whole ratings, please, for the love of Christ. I can't be that guy on Twitch. I've risen. Very nice, dude. I'm just special, I fear. Oh yeah, you definitely are, dude. Nurses tend to be a little special from what I hear. Is it true, Victoria, what they say about nurses? That I shouldn't date them? Is this factual? No hole raising? He risen? Who's risen? Oh, he risen. I get it. No, you should. I should date nurses. I heard nurses are basically like cops of like the chick world, where they're just like kind of some of them are normal and some of them are insane. Who wouldn't want to date a nurse? A lot of people, from what I hear. What's with the bot today? Otter's a goddess of nudity. Is this true, Otter? Where's Clip? Stop fucking around with me, dude. There we go. I know it's the same as gay level, but femboy level? Boba. Chat has spoken. Femboy level is a little niche though, because I feel like femboy is like a subcategory of gay, right? It's like an archetype. Can you be a straight femboy, or is that just like a paradox? I feel like at that point you're just kind of like drag or cosplay. I think you need the seductive, like the sexualization element to be considered like femboy. But what do I know? I'm a straight white male, okay? My fucking this is way out of my jurisdiction. I don't understand any of this stuff. You could be a straight femboy. I fear you've never been on Bumble. I look, man. I don't want to get too controversial, but I reckon if you're wearing maid dresses and prancing around on Bumble, there's probably a degree of you that's not straight. Okay, you might be predominantly straight, like oh, Sask. I don't know if you do want me to call you Glad. I kept before we rated you. I don't know if I should tell you this. I was telling my chat not to tell you this when we rated you, but I kept calling you Glad Sack because I was having a dyslexic moment when I read your name. I'm sorry, okay? It wasn't my fault. So if there's any clips of me calling you Glad Sack, I read at a fourth grade reading level. I didn't do it on purpose, okay? But if it makes you feel any better, people call me Cat Sack. So we're kind of like twinsies in a way. NFT just a dating app? Yeah, NFT. It's a dating app, much like the other ones, except you can't message first. So in my experience, it's a dating app where you go to have matches expire every day. I just call you Snack Poppy. Thanks, dude. It's okay. Many do it. I wouldn't expect them not to. It is Twitch after all. Except you can now? What are we talking about? Guys, I need more coffee, dude. I'm tweaking, bro. You know when you're like not hungover, but when you drink all night and then the next day you're like sniffly, like you've clearly damaged your fucking immune system. That's mine. My immune system is like suffering right now. I feel fine though, but my nose is a little sniffly. I don't know why. Men can message first now? Can they really? Shit, that just shows how long it's been since I've used dating apps. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't have an issue with like chicks messaging first. It never bothered me, and I feel like the app kind of was like a supposed to be like a filter for the types of dudes who would be like a little bit more open to stuff like that. I think my whole thing was just a lot of the times chicks would just like, not message first, or if they did, you just gotta get like, hey, ladies, you gotta step up your game. I'm just saying, if you want a chance at the snack, dude. No, this is horrible. I'm ending this conversation now. I'm not giving dating advice. I'm off the market, all right? Forever. The Bumble market, anyways. I haven't used dating apps in a long, long time. That's not true, actually. It's been like maybe 6, 7 months, a year, maybe. I don't even know. No daddy, give me dating advice. All right. I mean, I've talked about this like a million times. My philosophy on if you wanna get a girl to love you, okay, fall madly in love with you forever and ever, fairy tale style. Okay, not the anime, the Western version. Just step one is make sure they know you're not insane. Okay, I'm telling you, that's always step one. Prove you're not insane, and then you're kind of in the door for like going on a date at least, and then just be yourself, minus the insanity. Okay, remove that part of yourself all the time, and then once they know you're not insane, then you could be a little insane because then they'll have the context of knowing you're not insane, so that now that when you act insane, and I don't mean insane in like an abusive way, I just mean like maybe like a quirky millennial. Maybe you quote "I has cheeseburger" or whatever your weird thing is. Okay, then you could do that a little bit, and they'll be like, "Oh, he's my quirky little hubby, you know? He's my cute little man. He does cute little things." Whereas if you do that before they know you, you're gonna have a restraining order against you pretty quick. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that you can get away with within the context of clarifying your mental health. Anyways, that's always step one, boys. So if you're trying to lock in a lovely lady, make sure they know you're not a crazy person. Step two, I don't know. I don't really know. Step one is really the hard one. Okay. Okay, I will say don't make jokes about kidnapping and killing them. I think this is like a common mistake that I see a lot of dudes do. I'm turning into a red pill podcast, guys. This is very we're getting pretty freaking based right now, all right? But I think I see a lot of dudes make like really edgy jokes. And I think you could do edgy jokes, but I don't this goes back to proving you're not insane. Don't do edgy jokes when you first meet someone. It's psychotic, okay? Anyways, dating with Snack is over. I'm going to go back to figuring out how to draw pants now. Okay, who wants clams? They're ready now. I gotta catch up with chat. I've been pressured into downloading dating apps. Unfortunately, look, everybody on dating apps doesn't want to be on dating apps. They all hate dating apps. Okay? But unfortunately, everybody uses dating apps, so we all have to be on them. So everybody on there is miserable. Okay, just understand that from a starting point. And then from there, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Modern dating sucks ass, bro. By the way, Victoria sent me a picture of the steak she made the other day, and it looks so good. Damn, bro, he getting food pics? I want food pics, bro. I get hungry. I'm a man who eats things. Sometimes too many things, and then I get a tummy ache. You guys know the deal. Victoria, don't get that red dress. If you don't get that red dress, I will. Cute, dude. Who wore it better, I wonder. Wait, people say that? The fuck? Who does that? What? A lot of guys do that, bro. A lot of guys talk to girls the same way they talk to their racist best friend that they've known for 10 years. And it's just not a good game plan. I'm telling you, though, you could be like a based individual as long as people know what your core values and principles are. Like, I think I say a lot of crazy shit on stream, right? But I also have real talks with you guys where you guys sort of know what my views are on stuff. And so when I say the crazy shit, you guys know I'm not being insane. I'm not insane. I'm just being insane, there's a difference there, right? I got my car fixed once, and the dude made 3 jokes about stalking me. Fuck, dude. Why do guys do that shit? Anyways, look. Anyways, ladies, just want you guys to know, I'm not like the other guys, alright? We sharing foot pics? I've already sent you guys foot pics. Not intentionally. I was trying to show you guys my carrot. And that's not an innuendo. I literally was just showing people my carrot. I eat carrots, okay? Speaking of, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna fill my tummy with a carrot. I'll BRB. I'll get a little crunchy little tummy carrot thing. Anyways, BRB. 5 carrots. Are we doing cumulative carrot tracking? Like, are we tracking how many carrots I eat throughout like my entire streaming career. Is that what we're doing now? I'm gonna be padding these numbers, dude. Now you're making it competitive. All right, I'm timing my degenerate chat for a few minutes. You don't have to lie to girls if they like you. They'll just lie to themselves. I think that's just dating in general, dude. That's kind of true, though. Guys, don't lose yourself in a relationship, okay? I will tell you that straight up. As somebody who's been there, don't sacrifice core elements of what you believe in, the values you hold for a relationship. Unless the values are like tiny little things where, like, I don't know, I like it when people are on time. That's a value you can maybe compromise on, unless they're like insanely late all the time. I don't know. But I'm talking about like core shit, you know, like foundational shit to like mental health. Don't lose that part of yourself, dude. Just recognize that if people can't align with your values to a degree, right? Don't be like a controlling freak or whatever, but like if your values don't line up, you're just gonna torture yourself in that relationship. Why are we getting so relationship talky on a Sunday morning, dude? Or afternoon, I guess. For me, that's the time. I don't know what time it is for you guys, but Snack trying to sound normal challenge, impossible. Guys, I'm the most normal one here. All right. I'm choking on a carrot though. Don't try to gaslight me into thinking I'm not normal. I've seen you guys talk in my chat, dude. I know you guys are way bigger freaks than I am. I choke on carrots, dude. My gag reflex isn't as refined. Don't get carrot anemia. Isn't it called keratosis when you turn orange? I kind of want to get that. Victoria, are there side effects other than being orange if I get keratosis? You don't want to get that? Is it that bad? Itching, abdominal pain, fatigue, weight loss. Some of those sound bad. You're kind of selling it to me. I already get abdominal pain eating carrots, so I'm also always fatigued. Itching kind of sucks. Oh, I was wondering, guys, if you guys had to choose, I was talking about this with my boys last night when we were drinking. If you had to choose between never burping again or never farting again, what would you choose? I think for me the answer is I can't give up farting, dude. I'm a little brat queen, dude. I gotta fucking eject. Otherwise, I'm afraid I might explode. You'd rather never fart? That's crazy. They're both healthy. You don't want to get rid of them. Okay, don't ruin the fun, Bobo. But this is a hypothetical. This is a world where you can either do one or the other. Okay, we know they're both good for you. I'm not saying, God, don't poo poo my party, dude. Never burping. All my farts are silent. What's the point? Oh, you gotta make a show of it, huh? I see. Yeti never burping, huh? That's probably I would never burp. I'm a never burper personally. One thing I will say is there are people. Speaking of relationships, I dated a girl who couldn't burp, and it was like a form of torture for her, literally. And apparently that's a common thing. People who can't burp and they have to have like burps induced. So like you can have like a tube put in to help you clear gases out of your esophagus, which is insane. But yeah, she hated it because she would like drink soda and get the urge and want to burp, but she couldn't. How many girls have you dated? Jeez. I mean, a lot of the time when I say the girl I've dated or some girl I dated, a lot of the girls I mentioned, they're the same person. They just have different traits or characteristics that I reference vaguely because I'm on the fucking internet, dude. I'm not gonna drop their names and locations. I don't even know where half of them are these days. It's not an edgy joke. I genuinely don't know what they're doing with their lives. Would you date me if I was a girl and this slutty? As in this slutty, as in how slutty you are? Hmm. I don't know. Probably don't care if it's like toned down while we date. You know, if you're going around telling streamers you want to slob on their knob every second day while we're in a relationship, that's probably not gonna fly. I'm gonna be real with you. I think that's reasonable. But if you're a single fella, Dizzy, and you want to be a little slut, go crazy, dude. The world's your oyster. I don't care. God bless high protein ranch recipes. Gross, dude. I don't know. I don't know what you're implying. We're on the topic of farts, so I'm gonna assume it's sinister. Okay, I was drawing from reference 2 seconds ago. What was I doing here? No, I just genuinely love them. It does. It sounds like you're talking about farts still. Hmm. I'm gonna go have beans. See you soon. All right, I'll see you soon, big dog. I'll be around. Finger one, finger two. I gotta clean this up. Who's bean? Guys, do you have like routines or like rituals when you wake up or like things you do? I mean, getting coffee is like the obvious one. That's like everybody's routine. But do you have things that you like to do, like specific content you like to watch, or things you sort of do every single morning when you wake up? I have my rituals. I'm just curious what everybody else is. Because I feel like sometimes I meet people and they're like, "Oh, I don't do this or I don't do that or like I do this or whatever." It's like, "Oh wow." People are actually really like interesting in terms of the range and spectrum of things that they actually do when they're alone, you know? It's crazy to think about because you kind of live in your own world and you're like, "Oh, everybody does what I do." Contemplating about quitting my job? I think we might actually be twins, dude. Chad, how many times have I complained about my job? If it didn't pay for my mortgage, dude, I'd be fucking gone. That's not true. But I stay in bed for like an hour or brush my hair and wash my face. Okay, that's valid. Hour or three. Oh shit, I missed that part. Damn, dude. Get out of bed. I'm just kidding. I ain't judging. I browse my racist Instagram reel. Z plural, not just the one. For like a good 20 minutes when I wake up, maybe an hour sometimes if I'm feeling Extra bummy. Sask, what is it about your job that you don't like? Is it the fuck? My dad just texted me. He said, "Are you alive?" I'm alive. I'll answer you later, Dad. What is it about your job you don't like? The people? Oh shit. That's the worst one, dude. That's really the worst. I think if you're in a job, like any job, I can do any job so long as my coworkers are tolerable, you know? But if I'm working with people and they fucking suck, it ruins every job. You could have your dream job. And if the people you work with suck, it's a nightmare. It really is. You could also have a nightmare job, but if the people in the trenches with you are chill as fuck, you're flying high, dude. Every day's the best. The people are really primary to any job, in my opinion. Colleagues at 50 and more childish than 10-year-olds. Yeah, yeah, I believe you. Sometimes I hear shit from like dudes at work, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you saying? I have a colleague, okay? This guy works in HR, by the way, and he still uses the term work wife to refer to a chick he works with. And he's like in his mid 50s. And she's married. And she doesn't say anything back. It's I don't know. There's like shit like that where I'm like, God damn, dude. You definitely grew up in like a different era. I live in fear of making jokes like that, okay? I'm worried I will get too comfortable with somebody and say some crazy shit like that. Okay? I'm constantly in like well, no, I'm not constantly, but it's a thing I'm aware of. This guy has no awareness, and he works in HR, staffing in particular. Or sorry, not even staffing. I think it's like labor relations. I don't even know what the fuck he does, but work wife, will you be my stream hubby? You're all my stream hubbies, dude. We're a big polycule, remember? What kind of cult would I be if I didn't have a polycule? I'm gonna have to go to the cafe now. See you tonight. All right, peace, dude. Have a good night. I'll catch you whenever I catch you. I want out of car stuff, but I get left alone mostly, and I get to listen to music slash podcasts all day. But you don't like being a mechanic? It sounds like an interesting job. I don't like working in an office. I work with like surrounded by gray cubicles and people in corporate attire all the time, working through like fucking spreadsheets and random bullshit. So the idea the grass is always greener, right? Like from my perspective, the idea of leaving a gray cubicle to go work on cars and get covered in grease and shit sounds awesome. Okay, but I guess if you're doing it every day, it loses its magic pretty quick, right? So I can get your perspective. I think in my case, the reason I bitch about my job is just because I don't want to work. I would just much rather be an unemployed bum with a salary. I'm telling you, dude, I should have been a trust fund baby, born in the wrong socioeconomic class. I fucked up my shoulder at paintball practice a few weeks ago, and I keep aggravating it at work. Oh shit, dude. Do you get any leave? Can you take time off for like healing? Cat, can you play "No Longer You" by George Rivera Herranz, please? Sure, give me a sec. Let me type that in. Benefits? What you mean? Oh damn, dude. Plus, I keep taking time off for paintball related shit. Oh, okay. Well, that sucks, dude. You don't get like accommodations or anything, eh? I guess if you're working in a trade. When I when I graduated from my electrical engineering program, I was like, it was a 2-year program, so it wasn't a diploma program. So I'm not like an engineer, but I have a technician's certificate. I get no, it's not a certificate; it's a diploma. And I was like contemplating working in the energy sector, and then I was like, do I want to fuck my shoulders up? The reality is, I at the time, I don't think I understood the types of jobs I could have had coming out of college because I was like 20 when I graduated, so I was still pretty young, and I just didn't have a grasp of like what industries are like. And so I opted to not work in that industry because I thought I'd basically be like an electrician. And not that there's anything wrong with being an electrician, but it's hard on your body, and that was my concern. I didn't want to have like fuck joints and shit when I'm older. And the irony is, I'm 30 now, and my joints are fucked anyways because I work out too hard. So now I'm crippled at 30. I can draw still, but I basically did the same thing I was afraid I was gonna do in my 20s through a corporate job. So whatever, it is what it is. Can't really predict the future, huh? So just do what you're gonna do and then pivot from there. I don't know what this object is. I think I'm gonna put the pants above it though. Maybe not. I'm just doing shapes. I'll figure out the details later. This guy's freaking strapped up, dude. I think he's got like way too many straps, but whatever. What do I know? I put my stake in general for your viewing pleasure. All right, let's take a little look at the Discord stake. Let me take a little look. Let me set up my Discord so I'm not doxing myself. Here we go. Where the hell's my? There it is. Oh, Discord, where art thou? Come on, Discord. Where the fuck? I hate OBS, dude. Why does it change my windows? No, that's not it. That's not it. Clip Studio, that's not it. Brother. No, I don't want that. I don't know why Discord's just not an available option on my OBS right now. Maybe I'm tweaking. Read harder. Yeah, I don't know. I can't pull up Discord right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm not really feeling this. Actually, this is the song request, my bad. Ah, there's my Discord. There we go. What are we talking about? Okay, high functioning autism, blah blah blah. Do you have high elf autism? You guys are tweaking, bro. All right, here's the freaking steak and fries. Damn, that shit looks good, bro. Mm. I would eat that up. And then you guys are just talking shit. I'm not gonna acknowledge any of that stuff. Oh shit. I wasn't even showing my screen. Oopsies. Oopsies. I was not looking at the right spot. There we go. Now you guys can see this, right? There you go. Look at that. Not the art critique for my steak. I'm not gonna critique your steak, bro. It's perfectly medium, just like I like. I'd maybe go on the rarer side if we're doing critiques, but no feet or nothing. Yeti says, I was gone. Did you say something bad about this song? No, never, dude. I would never do that. I have no idea what you're talking about. I love all the music that you guys recommend. You know that. Guys, have I ever judged anybody's music here? I would never. That'd be so rude. What up, Mill? How you doing, big dog? Yes? You're not supposed to answer that question. That was a rhetorical question, dude. Boba, is he lying? Boba, remember, I control your mod status. Hey, Faye, what up, dude? How you doing? Faye, sweet. How's the vegetable season going for you, Faye? Your community garden going well? How are you today? I'm going good. I'm yapping, so I'm getting absolutely no drawing done. This is gonna be a 2 week drawing at this pace, but it is what it is. But I'm good, dude. I went out drinking last night, so this morning I woke up with a really dry mouth, and my brain feels like it's a little shriveled up, so I'm not very Not very witty and quick with it, but you know, I am a little loosey goosey, which is nice. Makes for more entertaining content, I think, which with less coherent thoughts is the sort of caveat. But oh no, I'm on huh on I'm not doing that this year. Old people ruined it for me last year. Oh yeah, but my balcony veggies are going good. Potted some tomatoes in a bigger pot. Yeah, yeah, I meant like your hydroponic shit. You're like freaking drug empire of tomatoes. I love glass animals. Yeah. Well, I aim to deliver. What can I say? Okay, I'm a man of the people. I had a sense, so I was like, you know what? I gotta cue that up for Sask. Glad sack. Faye, can I borrow a tomato for my steak today? This is in my playlist. Glad sack. Sask. Fuck, dude. I'm sorry. This is starting as a meme. I don't want to be mean, so I'm gonna tone it back. Glad Sask. I'll just call you Glad or GS. Just say Glad. All right, Glad. Glad. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't make this playlist. So Dizzy made this playlist. So I have my chat do free labor for me, which is really convenient for me because it means I don't have to do anything and then things just happen, which is really nice. So Dizzy was kind enough to make a series of playlists in different like categories or genres of music. And what we're listening to right now is Dizzy's playlist titled uh what is it titled? It's something. It's Cat Snack Pop. He's so kind that he names it after me. I appreciate it. Of course, but no plants have any tomatoes yet, and steak and tomatoes. Never heard of that. Really, you've never heard of steak and tomatoes? I feel like that's done. Steak and baked potato is probably more common. I started a playlist and asked for help from the community. Yeah, well, that's why we have the music share channel that I ignore constantly. So I don't know if you guys are updating playlists with the things that people drop in the music share, but I'll sit below and wait for the balcony. Wait, hold up. I shall sit below the balcony and wait for the tomato. Dude, my brain. I'm gonna turn on shuffle, just so that we don't always listen to the same music in the same order. I'm trying to understand everything. Come on, 411 days of Duolingo will be worth something. Like talking about understanding what I'm saying right now. I find it really, really, really cool that people come in here for like English practice. I don't know that I'm necessarily like the easiest to understand because I have a weird cadence and a pretty fast speech pattern, but I commend you for it, dude. Is it? Do you feel like it's working, Mill? You feel like you're getting better at English, not necessarily from being here, but just consuming internet content in general. That's the way to do it, dude. If you're gonna learn, you get all that input, and it definitely helps with the improvement. I don't even know what this fucking thing is. I should define what that thing is, but I just don't wanna. God, I'm so lazy today, guys. Yes, hell yeah, dude. See, art tutorials, English tutorials. There's nothing I can't do. This is the streamer of the year, dude. Where's my award? I can't make playlists or set up bots or affiliate. There's a lot of stuff I can't do actually, but we should focus on the things I can't. The playlist thing actually might be proof I have autism. Explain. I don't like the shape of these pants. I gotta zoom out when I'm doing these. Move that. Do I want it to go? That looks very stiff. Maybe with a touch of ADHD. I need context, bro. You can't just self-diagnose without context. This ain't TikTok, dude. Be right back, guys. I'm gonna run to the washroom real quick, and then I'll BRB. I'm not taking a piss though, guys. So don't boost the piss tracker. I'm just applying antiperspirant because I'm a stinky boy right now. I don't know why. All right, we're back. We're back, smelling like Old Spice Fiji. That's the way I like it. He's going to poop? No, dude, I ain't that fast. That'd be like a fucking shotgun burst poop, dude. That'd be so quick if I'm already back. It would give a little bit more credence to the lion doesn't wipe memes, you know. But that ain't like me. Those are just jokes, guys. I'm a clean boy, I promise. I get a dumb idea for one, and it's got 30 songs in a few minutes. He's going to poop. Add it to the counter. Yeah, I mean, it's do you use like recommended songs, or do you actually cognitively think about every song you want to add into the playlist? Let's add some wrinkles here for his like dick area. Uh, I need a better line of action going through this leg here. And this is something that I think I might need to move the foot up and out maybe. I know there's no actual foot. There's just like a weird triangle shape, but gives my brain a little reference point, a little anchor to tie the leg to. Ooh. Column A, column B. There's sometimes overlap. Column A, column B. I'm not sure what you're referencing. On Spotify, column A, column B. I made a playlist of songs me and one of my best friends are going to sing along to on the way to Vegas, and it's similar to my high school playlist. Okay. My high school playlist is a lot of Billy Talent, a lot of My Chemical Romance, a lot of Green Day, Avril Lavigne, Blink 182. Just the cringiest millennial shit you could think of. I love it. Fucking love that shit. Nope. I'm trying to think of like what kind of curve I want going through here. Do I want it to sort of come in like that and then maybe I need this to come in more? It's not horrible. He's still kind of stiff. Like his gesture is basically just like a straight line. I don't really like that. The recommended section is decent if it's general playlists, but not great if I'm going for a certain vibe. Okay, I feel that. What I usually do is I'll click on artists, and then from there is it'll give you like a series of recommended artists, and then I'll just sort of click through them and listen to some of their more popular songs, and then that's sort of how I determine. That's how I find like new stuff, new genres. My issue right now is my algorithm's busted because I've just been listening to a lot of 2000s playlists this year, and as a consequence of that, everything that Spotify queues up for me is just the same shit over and over. It's like a lot of Kanye West from like the early before he went insane. A lot of like I don't know, Snoop Dogg, and like I don't hate that stuff, but it's just like it gets tired after a while. I would probably listen to more like metal and screamo. I've been getting into Slickbox a lot lately. I really like what else? Maximum the Hormone also. Just shit like that. Dude, this song is why did it pause? I didn't pause it. What the fuck? Spotify tweaking. I'm gonna look at it from a distance and just sort of. I'll hit refresh a lot on recommended sections too. That's a good idea. I should start doing that. I don't really do that much. That's what I do if I find a new band I like too. I think these need to line up a little bit better. This needs to line up a little bit better. So I think the need's going to be a little bit higher than I actually have it here on this one. Also, I wonder if I bring the leg out or like bend it a little bit if that works better. It's gonna be a lot of this today, guys. Just me sort of fucking fiddling around with stuff until I find something I like. But well, that's a weird shape. The checking out recommended artists thing. Yeah, I mean, I think the algorithm's pretty good at recommending similar artists. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you listen to stuff and you're like, bro, these don't even sound the same at all. But in general, it's pretty good. Hmm. I hate that sometimes it tries to cram something down my throat. For example, Drake in like 2018, I think. Was Drake just sort of blasted all over Spotify in 2018? I don't think I had like a Spotify account until like after the pandemic. It is interesting that the pandemic is just kind of like a landmark now in time. Pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. PP. Fuck that guy and his shit flow. I actually don't look. I don't like Drake as a person. I don't hate his flow though. I find him incredibly cringe, but he's not terrible. I'm not gonna be a pure hater, but I am, It's not because he's Canadian. Okay, as much as I love my Canadian boys, I'm not a huge Drake fan. I was actually a huge Drake hater for years. I've been a day one Drake hater. Me too. I was a day one Drake hater too, and I like pivoted. The thing is, I don't mind if you know what it is. I don't mind if he features on songs with the artists I like. I would never listen to him directly. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like if he shows up on like a Kendrick Lamar album or like J Cole, I don't think he would ever collab with J Cole. I don't even know if he has. or like something like that. Then I'll listen to it, I'll peep it, but maybe I gotta fix this leg. Whoops. Yeah, I could tolerate him having a section in a song, but I won't look for his stuff. That's it. That's it for me too. It's like the thing is, he's kind of on everything sometimes. Like it's hard not to, and you can't like hate every song just because he shows because he's in like fucking everything. It was same with like 21 Savage for a while. I would never listen to 21 Savage directly, but if 21 Savage was on something that an artist I liked was like doing, then I'd be like, ah, maybe he's not that bad. As far as Spotify, I changed my age on Facebook so I could get into the beta. What is it, age capped? How old do you have to be to use the Spotify beta on Facebook? I don't use any Facebook features at all. All I do is post art and never look at it. So this shoe's kind of small. For the beta, you had to be 18. What do you mean you changed your age, dude? You're like 30. Why do you need to change your age to be 18? Oh, you were early to Spotify. Oh, like you were saying wait before you even turned 18. Damn, bro. Spotify existed back when we were 18? Damn, that's crazy. I think this foot needs to be bigger and wider, maybe. It's the vibe I'm getting. Maybe pushed out a little bit, just so we can get a better gesture, like a better flow going through that outer line there. I think I need to trim this area too, though, to see if I can help the flow. It's a little too dark with the line there. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna take the legs and I'm just gonna shift them over completely, just to get a better gesture. How's that? Do I like that? He looks off balance now. I do feel like this leg should be a little bit more over here, though. Let's just take this leg, just this leg, and then we'll move that over. Now it feels like this foot is a little too big. Okay, let's play around with liquefy. I think this needs to be a little bit less side profile. Back when we were 17, God, dude, what a long time ago. When was that? That would have been 2011 for me. What the fuck brush am I using right now? Oh, there we go. That was the more open beta, so it was probably older. I first time I used Facebook, I would have been 14ish, I think. I don't know if you can even have a Facebook account at 14. I think back then the rules were 13. I don't know though. Not that kids really give a fuck, but whatever. Should this come in? Point down, bring in. It's always the legs that I feel like are really, really stiff for me. I struggle so much with legs. This foot's too high also now that I'm looking at it. I think it would come down because the heels would sort of line up there. Tongue would pop out a little bit more. Spotify launched in the US in July of 2011. Really? Damn, what was I using for music? I think I just listened to shit off of YouTube for like when I first used social media for music or whatever. Pandora was the shit. Was Pandora another music streaming platform? You guys remember LimeWire? I mean, half of you probably were not even alive, but I use LimeWire quite a bit. I downloaded the audio tracks off YouTube for my music at the time. Yeah, that's true. You could do that. There were like YouTube downloaders. There still are. I use them sometimes, but yeah, I'm gonna look up some references for Snacks of Pirate. Get them? Oh, dude, you have no idea. I'm a fan of community access to stuff. That's all it is. All right, let me look up. Let me do a little Pinterest browsing real quick. Pinterest.ca. Bro, techwear is so sick, but like I feel like you would look like a psycho if you were wearing it out in the streets. But like I just love the look of techwear. The like cyberpunk look, so dope. Shoes. Nope. Come on. Show me shoes, baby. Techwear should only exist in Fantasyland? Kind of. Kind of. I feel like if you can get sort of like a mix between techwear and normie shit, it can look sick. I just don't think I have like the aesthetic to pull it off. You know what I mean? That's sort of my issue with techwear is I just don't think I can pull it off super well. But I do think it looks dope, you know? Could be because 90% of the time it's poorly made shit off Temu. It's possible. I've never used Temu in my life. I've only gotten ads for it. I'm trying to find some sort of tech wear that this fella can wear. Tech. Hmm. Okay. I kind of like these. They look dumb as fuck. Actually, is this like even real? I feel like this is like AI. Fuck is this? One sec. Ignore what I just said. I'll show you guys when I find something. Just put him in some early 2K skate shoes. I don't know. I like the sort of the basketball shoe look. I just don't like the high tops. I don't really want them to have high tops. That's sort of my issue. Court shoes do kind of look sick though. The Bam Margera audios. Damn, bro, Bam is like such a throwback. You guys ever play like Tony Hawk's Underground, like on PS2? I fucking love the Underground series. Same with like American Wasteland. Like it was so sick. I never got on board with the Skate series, which sucks because apparently they're awesome. But I was sort of out of the. I had lost interest in that genre. Okay, we'll do something stupid like this. Here we go. I found an image. It's not the exact same angle, but I'll figure it out. So his leg's gonna come down like this. Skate 3 goes hard. What do you mean? That's what I'm saying. Skate 3 does go hard. I'm not talking shit about Skate 3. I'm just saying I had lost interest in sort of the genre at the time of its release. Like, because I had played every Tony Hawk game basically since the first one on like PS1. I think it was on PS1. And then Skate came out, and I was like, it's not Tony Hawk's. I'm over it. And then I just got like really into like NHL. I played a lot of NHL. Okay. We got what is this weird ass shape here? Okay, this is looking kind of stupid already. Let's see if it's salvageable. Patience snack. Patience. Tony Hawk's I felt had more of an arcade feel. I tried a little bit of Skate and it looked worse than IRL skating. Skate was cool, and I think I played like Skate 1, didn't play Skate 2, and I played a bit of Skate 3. So I lied to you guys just then, but I didn't play as much as I played the Tony Hawk games to the point where I just don't have a strong memory of it. I do know that like the stick mechanics with like the left and right thumbstick were just like really novel and really cool as far as like being able to pull tricks off. You kind of felt like you were actually doing shit a little bit more. This like side shit has got to go. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna go take a fat piss. BRB. I'm back. Sorry I took so long. I was rummaging through my fridge looking for something to eat, and I settled on a kiwi. Skin on, because we don't skin our kiwis here. All right, back to figuring this shoe out. Do we need a kiwi counter too? I don't know. That'd be pretty high. I eat a lot of kiwis, dude. I eat probably about 2 kiwis a day. Sun Gold specifically. I'm not about that green shit personally. I'm a creature of habit, dude. I just eat the same things every day. Today I had another wrap with turkey bacon, eggs, feta cheese, hot sauce. And that was it. That was my breakfast with a kiwi. This brush could be smaller. Lost me at feta. You don't like feta, dude? Dude, feta goes hard. What are you talking about? What's wrong with feta? Explain. I stepped away to feed my dogs. What I missed? Otter's talking shit about feta cheese, dude. Explain, he says. That shit is gross. It's not gross. It's cheese. It just tastes like cheese. It does not taste like cheese. It does. Can't say I remember eating feta cheese. It's great. You should try it. It comes in a big bucket of water, which I know doesn't make it sound very appealing, but it's good, dude. All right? Don't listen to Otter. I'm gonna go get some later now, an update if I remember to. It's like cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is actually less liquid than feta cheese. Actually, feta cheese itself. Okay, so it looks like tofu. All right, it comes in like the one I get comes in like a tub, right? And then in the tub, like if you rotate this top down, so if you put an X here and then you rotate, so the X is now facing directly like that, and you look inside, it's all liquid, okay? With like just a big cube, just a freaking giant square, just floating, okay? And then you break off pieces of that, and that's your feta cheese, dude. Look, it's dope, all right? Otter's a hater. She's working for Big Gouda, dude. Cottage cheese is also gross. Trying to reach protein intake in a few years ago had me burnt out on that stuff. Feels just gross. It's wet. I eat Greek yogurt every day. Just 0%, like low fat Greek yogurt daily with like protein powder in it. I eat like I basically am like in like a sci-fi movie living on like a fucking spaceship where they have limited rations. I don't know why. I just eat like some sort of like futuristic peasant. I can eat Greek yogurt straight, but I add blueberries. Straight Greek yogurt is so boring. I don't like. I'll eat it. It's not gross to me, but I'll eat it. The most fucked thing I used to do, guys, back when I was like before I injured my shoulder, back when I was working out hard, like working out really hard, I would chug egg whites like every day. Like I wouldn't when cook them, I would just drink them. It was faster. So I get like these cartons. Where the fuck's my brush? You what? Yeah, dude. You can ask Toothpaste. He's seen me do it. My dad would gag when he'd see me do it. But anyways, look, I would like take the carton of egg whites. That's a big carton. Okay. And I would just chug the egg whites. There's like a little nipple on it, right? A little cap. And I would just take that and I'd pour it into a glass. So I'd get my like IKEA glass of freaking egg whites. And I'd just chug it as fast as I can because it's gross as fuck. Your stomach is so abused. Look, they're pasteurized. It's fine. You're not. You can't get salmonella. You're all good. Execute him. Look, man. I'm just saying. I got higher survival genes than you guys. Okay. I will eat anything. I'm like the cockroach of the human species. Nothing. Nothing is unedible to me. All right. In a survival situation, who do you think's coming out on top? You guys or me? I'm just saying. I got stronger genes. That's all it is. Don't hate the play. I hate the game, dude. You can't defend the feta cheese is good and say you chugged egg whites and get me to believe you. I mean, I don't. I'm not very picky. I'll eat anything. I didn't even think of the salmonella. I was thinking of the disgusting booger texture of egg whites being drank. Yeah, it does kind of. It feels like boogers a little bit. It's you know what it tastes like. This is a horrible description, but this is what it tastes like. Okay, it tastes like musty water, which is it sounds gross, and it is. I drink it fast. I don't like it. Okay, you just gotta get your protein in, dude. It's all about the macros. At the time, I think I was aiming for around 180 grams of protein a day, which is a lot. So I was chugging egg whites because I was like sick of fucking eating meat. Me because I'm gay? Wait, that's not a good joke. What are you talking about? Because the consistency of egg whites? Yeah, I guess it's comparable to cum a little bit. I kept it a little bit more heteronormative with my description, but you could picture it as cum if that helps you get it down. Teach their own. Brother. I have no shame, okay? I drink egg whites. It's life. I've never reached my protein goal. I just try my best. It's so hard, really. I hit my protein goal daily, bro. I was eating so many fucking groceries. I was going through like $450 worth of groceries like every month, basically. Probably more, actually. Maybe like 500. Which is similar to what I do now. I just eat a lot. Your metabolism is probably much higher. I don't know. I think when I was working out hard, like when I carried a lot more muscle than I do now, I think my resting my resting like my TDE or like what I burned at baseline was probably around 24 to 2600 calories. It varied. It fluctuated based on how much fat I had at the time. If I was really lean, it was probably closer to 24, maybe even down to 22. And then this was like the high end. When I was bulking, I was eating around 3,000 calories a day. Um, that was just sort of that was my system. Honestly, I think my it was probably closer to 28 what it should have been to gain weight. Because I was whenever I'd bulk, I would gain weight a little too fast. I just gain weight really easily, but it also helps because I gain muscle easily too. It's a double-edged sword, I suppose. But no one told me there's a protein requirement daily. The one time I was alone for 5 days, I used to only eat potatoes and ramen. Damn, dude, girl dinner. That's crazy, bro. How'd you not get like scurvy? You'd side eye my daily intake. I mean, I'm talking about calories. I'm not talking about protein. My daily protein, like, if you're a normal human being whose goal is not extreme muscle gain, okay, you don't need to eat like fucking 200 grams of protein a day. You're gonna look insane. You're just gonna shit bricks all the time. Okay, you're better off like it's like what's a good rule of thumb? Probably like half a gram per pound of body weight. So if you weigh like I'm gonna say 100 pounds. Most people don't weigh 100 pounds, but just as a nice simple round number, zero point 0.5 per pound is probably about 50 grams of protein a day, which is doable. That's basically like That's like 2 scoops of protein or like a couple chicken breasts. It's really not that hard to hit 50 grams a day. Now, if you're trying to gain muscle, you're looking in the one. Well, it depends on your height, your weight, and all that stuff. As somebody who weighed around like 160 at the time, I was pulling in about. I was doing 1 gram per pound. So I was doing a little over on cuts to help preserve muscle. But I was doing around like I don't know anywhere between 160 grams to 180 grams of protein a day. And I was tracking everything. I had a gram scale that I would use to measure out all my protein and stuff. I undereat, but that's for other reasons. Do you just have like a light appetite? Dizzy mentioned. Light appetite would mean it's consistent. I struggle to reach 1,000 calories. Intake is maybe under 800 on most days. What? That's not normal, dude. Why? Like even for chicks, like I know there's like a trend on there was a trend like a few years ago, like the 1,200 calorie club or whatever. I don't know. It's like some Reddit thing where chicks were trying to aim for 1,200 calories a day. That's low for like most girls, like unhealthily low, like to the point where you're bordering on losing weight too aggressively. And obviously, we're speaking in generalities. Like if you're a girl who's like 4'6", I mean, there's not a lot of those girls, but there are like exceptions where eating 1,200 calories makes sense for your body size and stuff. But snack, I can guarantee you, it's not deliberate. I just don't have an appetite. Oh my god, I can't stop eating. Like when I went to a dinner with my boys last night, okay, and the way they determine how much food they make is based off of how much I can eat. Because I eat the most in my friend group, and so they make enough for me. They're like, "Do we have enough for snack to fill himself?" And then from there, they portion it out. They basically just multiply my portion by everybody else, and then that way they're guaranteed to know that everybody can get enough food. I'm the quantitative metric by which my friends use to determine our meal plannings for buddy bro in like dinner night, dinner with the boys. There's days I only realized that I didn't eat as much as I'm getting into bed. What? Why? Do you just feel like super lightheaded when you get into bed? I gotta look at how I've done pants in the past. I really don't like the way this is turning out. No, like just not hungry. I envy you, dude. I wish that were me. I have to actively not starve myself, but I have to actively eat less food on a regular basis to not freaking like feel like I'm starving. Or sorry, that made no sense. I have to eat less food to lose weight, and it's torture. That's what I wanted to say. I can't gain weight no matter how obnoxiously I decide to eat. I'm 2 meters or 6'5", and anything I eat burns away. Help! I'm also 64 kilograms or 140 pounds. I'm 5'8". Right now, I'm sitting at around 170. Okay, I used to be fairly muscular. Now I'm a little bit softer just because of my injury, and so I'd like to get back down to 160. I don't look particularly fat, but I want to be able to maintain that weight a little bit more, so that if I get into exercising again, I have a little bit more of a runway to gain some weight. But I do know that that's like a common issue. I have some buddies who, when they eat, they have really light appetites, and so trying to gain weight for them is like torture. It's borderline impossible. They just can't, no matter how much they want to. I was 6 feet and 145 until I was like 24, 25, and I fucking ate, and then it just stopped. My appetite's a recent thing. Do you think it's like a medication thing or something that like caused it, or do you just think like I don't know, just you're just not hungry? Best way to lose weight is gaming. I usually forget I need to eat. Yeah, we call that. My buddy calls that the gamer's delight. It's when you're so into gaming and so hyper focused that you realize it's like now 8 p.m. and you haven't eaten all day. It's a gamer's delight. It's delicious. My metabolism tanked and I shot up to 196. Lord knows medical shit's too expensive me at the moment. Too expensive for me at the moment. I see. Okay, I'm gonna how what where did we do the legs on this guy? Kind of. I think I like the way the legs were before. Definitely look better before. Okay, I'm gonna copy the legs I had here, and I'm gonna erase the ones I have there. So let's copy this. I'm not very in a dry mindset today. I don't know what it is. There's just some days where I just can't get my drawings well, or I can't hyper focus the way I normally can. It's also a little bit more difficult when I'm live, but I'm not gonna bitch and moan too much. Just merge that with the layer below. Anyways, I need to dry my hair and get ready for repo soon. Let me know if you want to play later. Ooh. I may play repo in a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might dabble a little bit. I think I might dip my toe into the po. I'll hit you up. Dip that toe, Pookie. Would love to have you. I'm blushing. All right. Well, I'll message you. I'm probably gonna wrap up at the 2.5 hour mark. I'm just a little sleepy today. Going out drinking all night kind of took a number out of me. So I'll wrap up at 2.5 hours, and then I'll probably join you and play a little bit of Poe. Right now, I'm just gonna draw ahead, just because I'm getting a little frustrated trying to figure out the legs. I'll come back to it when I'm a little bit more in the zone. Gotta love the gamble. I know it's not just Mexican households trying to find sour cream in the fridge. Is this sour cream or is this salsa or is it leftovers? You guys just put shit in the same container? I don't get it. Yeah, there's like five sour cream containers in our fridge right now. That's really funny. That's like cookies and sewing kits here in Canada. If you find a sewing kit, or if you find cookies, you'll probably take a wild guess and think it's cookies, but the reality is it's probably a sewing kit that somebody kept. M Young over on YouTube says, "Draw Jack cleaning Balto. Google search Balto. I know what Balto is, dude. I've seen Balto. Stop asking me to draw shit, man. Can't just come in here and be asking me to draw shit, bro. I'll draw shit every now and then, but if you're just coming in here asking me to draw shit, could you try drawing, please, man? No, dude. No. Stop coming in here asking me to draw shit all the time, bro. It's one thing if it's like a regular viewer who comes in, contributes to the community, does all that stuff. Then I don't have an issue if people ask me to draw stuff. But if you're a fella who just joins and says, "Hey, draw this," it's like, no, dude. Boom, 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 boom. Is that new? Why's the Nightbot dancing? Can I become criticized? 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 Yeah, you could get criticized. Did you post something in the critiques? Let me know when there's something in there, Mike. I'll take a little look, alright? Bless whoever made this playlist. You ever seen the diagrams of people blowing themselves? That's you right now, Dizzy. In self-suck position. My little art is there now? Alright, let me take a little look then. I'm gonna bring this up. Wee-hoo. Woo-hoo. Wee-hoo. Alright. Okay, we got that. I'm trying to find like a white space where I can make it opaque and not worry about shit getting in the way. Let's put it here. Why is it so... Dude, Clip is so laggy today. What's going on? Okie dokie. What could we do to improve this? Let me reduce the opacity here a little bit. Okay, so one thing I would say is I think I don't mind the I like the look of these banana leaf looking things, palm tree looking things. One thing I think we could do is we could show more overlap, and I think that'll make the tree feel a little bit more organic. A lot of leaves, if you look at leaves, they're impacted by gravity a lot of the time. So they come from a sort of center point on the tree. Let me do this on another layer. They come from a little center point on the tree. And then what happens is the leaf grows. It's a tiny little leaf, right? It grows bigger, and then it grows so big that it starts to weigh down. So you get this curvature here on the leaves typically. And that's on most leaves. And so because I'm seeing these as straight, they don't have a clear origin point, right? Like leaves come from something. When you do a leaf, if let's say you're doing a branch, let's say this is a branch, you're going to have these little nodules that then grow stems, and then these stems are where the leaves come from, right? And because of that, they're impacted by sort of the weight that's being applied to the stem. So if it's a really heavy leaf, like let's say there's a heavier leaf, maybe it'll bend a little bit. And so what I think you could do here is show a little bit more organic, like just form understanding is what I would say. So instead of having this origin be like here, this origin be here, this origin be here, you kind of have the idea. Kind of. I just don't think it's clear enough based off the fact that this is straight, this is straight. It implies sort of that the trunk is like this way, right? The trunk is coming out of this direction, and then the leaves are growing out this way. So what I would do is I would take these leaves, I would just draw a line to curve it, and then I would sort of, redraw my leaf here. And if I want to be really extra with it, I could show an overlap, maybe, of some sort. Maybe not there, actually. Something like that, maybe. Doesn't have to be this exact shape. You can shape it. Let's shape it a little bit more like the way you have it here. So I'm going to just sort of even out the sides a little bit. And I noticed on the back one, you actually have overlap. And this one feels a lot nicer because of the overlap. Now for this, I would centralize this leaf. I wouldn't connect the overlap all the way here. So I wouldn't connect it here. So I wouldn't have this part touch with this overlap line. I would leave it a little detached, sort of like that, and then have that come in here. One thing I would say is I'd probably move this leaf so it feels a little bit more centered. Something like that. So it feels like it's sort of going to the same origin point as the other leaves. Um, this one too. So this one is going to be a little bit tougher. So what you could do is if you wanted to be able to sit on this leaf, first of all, I don't know that you would necessarily be sitting on leaves because I think they're a little flimsy to sit on, even the bigger ones. But I would do something sort of like this, and then maybe have him sitting like just sitting away. You don't even need to see his full body here. Maybe he's looking at the camera, and that's fine. But I would do a little bit more variety with sort of the leaves here. And don't be afraid to cover up leaves with other leaves. So I'm just gonna show like the stem sort of going into the leaf here. But what I would say is with overlap and stuff, you don't want to. It feels like you're trying to not sort of show the overlaps here as much, and I think if you force the overlaps a little bit more and just recognize that a lot of things are going to be obstructed. So I'm just all I'm doing really is adding curves to these and making sure the origin points are fairly similar. Flipping too, always flipping. I don't really like the shape of that one. I do need it to curve. I'm trying to figure out how to make this sort of show some overlap here. Anyways, the point is like just don't be afraid to cover things up that you've already done. Like there should be a leaf coming a little bit more towards us. It doesn't make sense that if you're a tree, all your leaves are just growing in angles that are away from the viewer, right? You would have some leaves that come towards you, right? And showing that, like having like sort of this umbrella feeling to a tree really helps with the depth. Imagining three-dimensional backgrounds is definitely my weak point. It's everybody's weak point. That's why things like box exercises, rotating organic shapes in space, these are all fundamental exercises that you can use to work on your three-dimensional thinking of things, right? So now for trunks. So your trunk is a little simple, and that's not bad, but if we look at a tree, you're going to notice there's a lot of weird bumps and cracks and all kinds of little things in a tree. So I'm just going to we'll pull up a palm tree because to me, this feels like it's inspired by a palm tree. So I'll pull up a palm tree real quick. And even palm trees have sort of like organic curvatures to them, even if they're a little bit more simplified than other trees. So let me see. Let me find a good palm tree. Now, palm trees, unfortunately, are a little bit more... Where the fuck's my palm tree at? Nope. I gotta try and coffee it. 1 second. Palm trees are a little bit more streamlined than a standard tree, but there's some interesting stuff with the palm tree here. So if I take a look at this palm tree, it looks like it's actually divided into what looks like to me as two major sections. So there's this like weird, I don't even know, it looks like acorns almost. Probably, you know what I think it is? I think it's I'm not familiar with palm trees because I live in Canada. But I think these are probably where leaves would normally attach and they were trimmed, right? So these are like dead stalks. Kind of looks like a banana plant more than a palm tree. This, let me see what the difference is. Banana plant. Kind of a little bit. I'm still going to just use the palm tree to illustrate what I mean with sort of shape variety. So I think you've got these options here, and if you look, it's not like this is all straight. There's like bumps along here also. Oh, I'm drawing on the tree layer. Oopsies. There's sort of like there's subtle curves here. And it's also not that straight of a line, whereas yours feels very straight. So if I take my drawing lines here, I erase these out, and I try and be a little bit more accurate. So if I look at the palm tree, it looks a lot thinner than what you have here. Yours almost looks like a very, very short redwood. So if I were to do a palm tree, maybe I'd do something like this. I'd probably add some curvatures and some roots, right? I don't know if these have roots. They're probably trimmed. You can kind of see some back here, or like general splaying at the bottom here. So I'm gonna try and add that in again. Perfect opportunity to add overlap. So we'll do some roots. I don't know. It doesn't have to be. I'm just freestyling here. Maybe we got a big one here that this guy's like leaning against. The idea of what I'm trying to get you to do is think more three-dimensionally. And the way you do that is through by applying overlap. So things that I'm saying now might not seem very obvious or intuitive when you're doing them, but if you force yourself to try and do these things, they'll become a little bit easier. Right? So I'm adding contour lines just so that you can sort of understand the three-dimensionality of these objects. As we pass the horizon line, these lines tend to flip. So if a standard character is standing about here, the horizon line's probably around there also. So this is where perspective changes. The perspective changes around the horizon line. So if I have a horizon line or line of sight, you can think of horizon line as the line of where the eyes line up or where a camera lines up. So if you have an environment, can you like show the whole thing when you're done so I can screenshot? Yeah, I'll drop the screenshot in chat. So one thing to note when you're drawing an environment is you have this thing called a horizon line. This horizon line is typically where the eye line is or where the camera's viewing things from. So if you have a very high viewpoint, meaning you're seeing the top of like buildings or whatever, right? You're like at the top of a city, you can see sort of the rooftops and all that stuff, right? You would have a very high horizon line because it means your camera perspective is really high up. Okay, you know what a horizon line is? Perfect. Okay, so in this case, the way that you could think about what would overlap and what isn't is relative to like the object's vanishing points and horizon lines. And in the concept of a tree, like you have these curves. Horizon line's not a good example for this. How would I explain this? Hmm. Give me a second. I'm gonna think. I want to make this clear without confusing you. Still thinking. Okay, I'm going to simplify it this way. When one object overlaps another object, you get the feeling of depth. And so what I've done in your drawing, so I'm just going to draw a cylinder here. All I did was take another cylinder, move it in front of that cylinder, right? And then add another cylinder here. Move it in a different perspective relative to the main cylinder. And this is basically a tree, okay? And then from there, you're adding more geometric shapes. So you've got more cylinders here that are attached to, I don't know, organic shapes, I guess, that each have their own sort of properties. And see how this curve sort of wraps like this? You can illustrate that through your line weight and through your line variety. So now I can erase out these curves. I can leave part of that one curve. And by doing that, I show three-dimensionality in an object. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. When I'm adding these lines and these curves, I'm just sort of using them. I'm using overlap to inform the contour and the form of the object. You're using these overlap lines to provide information that you want to convey about what the shape is, right? And it doesn't, there's no rules around this. It just depends on what the shape is. So that's why when you're doing like an arm in perspective, you're using these overlap lines like the forearm muscle, the tricep, the deltoid, all these things in depth, the hand going over top of, whatever, to show the order of what goes in front of what. And that tells your brain what the shape is. It's a very abstract thing to explain, so it's a little difficult to explain. But you can think of things as like cylinders, cubes, and objects. And that's why practicing these are very important, right? So if you've got a sphere, cylinders, cubes, and objects is not the spheres, cubes, and cylinders. So this is a sphere, which is a circular shape. A lot of heads are constructed out of spheres. A lot of, balls. Doesn't matter what it is, okay? Then you got your cylinders. And depending on how you play and pull with the shapes of these objects, you can create a bunch of organic objects out of them. So that's why getting really good at these is important, because I can take this and now I can rotate it this way in space. And I basically have the roadmap for drawing an arm. Right? Because now I add a sphere to this. I add a cube to this. And I've got an arm, right? So these are sort of things that you can practice and learning overlap. And the way you do this is by looking at reference. So looking at a hand in perspective, mapping it out. This is where tracing is really, 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 really useful. So let's say arm foreshortened. I'm just going to find a reference image. This is a very, very good example because this person has drawn lines. Let me pull it up before I talk about it. This person's drawn lines on their arm to show the relationship of these contour lines as the arm rotates in space. And a common thing that we notice is these distances here get smaller. And if you think about that and ignore all the other information, you can do overlap a little bit better, right? And that applies to other things. And so when I'm doing my tree, this arm here is basically my tree root close up, where these lines are very close to each other. Right? These guys are touching here, whereas here they're not. And then if I did them here, they'd be touching even less because it's more profile, right? So as you rotate a cylinder in space, these contour lines get tighter and tighter until you're perfectly overlapped, Like if you put it dead center of the horizon line, it would just look like this. You wouldn't even see the back lines here. It would just be a perfect circle. Maybe you're below it, so maybe you'd see a little bit like this. But then all these contour lines would be hella tight. Right? Does this help sort of understand the importance of like overlap and choosing where your things go? I don't know if this is sort of too convoluted for you or if this makes any sense. Like I just think that's what you're lacking in this illustration. It feels like a lot of these are drawn as if they're all perfectly vertical, right? There's no indication of depth to a lot of these features on the tree. And I think by working within contour lines and trying to understand how contour lines relate to each other or an object, it gets a little mathy, but it helps you sort of map things out in your brain a little bit. It is kind of what my art teacher said, but you said it all better. Okay, cool. Good, good. So, and the thing is, these are not things that you can just intuitively know, Mike. These are things that you have to pull up reference for, and the best reference you could do, I mean, is, you know, taking reference images yourself, because then you can control the environment of the image that you're capturing, or you can, like, find reference images like this that are really going to inform the shape. And these contour lines don't have to be perfect circles either, by the way. The contour lines just inform the shape of the object. So if I have a weird contour line that looks like this, that just tells me this object has like a weird, organic, groovy shape to it. Right? So it's got sort of this dip in the middle here. I don't know what kind of object this would be. It could just be a weird organic creature. Maybe it's a strange fish. I don't know. Whatever, right? You could create anything you want out of organic shapes, but understanding these shapes is, you know, helps you get a little bit more creative with stuff. Or, you know, maybe we want to do a wide shape with like two little legs here. And now I have questions to ask myself. Where do I put my contour lines? Where I put my contour lines is going to inform the viewer of what the shape parameters are, or what the shape sort of well, you've done 3D modeling, right? So you know what like there are planes, 3D planes. 3D planes on an object are basically the same as contour lines. Okay? So you could change this and you could break it out into more tiny little contour lines that are then broken up into squares that make these polygon shapes that you would use in 3D modeling. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You're tugging and pulling these the same way you would in a 3D model sculpture. Or, yeah, it's a wireframe, essentially. Yeah, that's what these contour lines are. And you know, like, when you're 3D modeling, if you push or pull on a contour line or a wireframe, it doesn't make the drawing correct or incorrect. It just changes the parameter of what we're viewing. And so if you can understand these fundamentally and understand how they would relate to each other, you can start creating all kinds of shapes. And so these are really, really good things to practice. So when I'm telling people draw boxes, I'm not trying to bore the shit out of them. These are just sort of good fundamental things. Boxes are very easy because they have objective sides to them, right? Box is always going to have side 1, 2, 3, and then there'd be one under there, one back there, and then one over here. It's always going to have these 6 sides, right? And then you being able to rotate them trains your brain to sort of create these in space. And this is sort of the stepping stone. This is the first step to being able to create more organic shapes in space. Because when you're messing with a shape that looks like this, that doesn't have clear sides, that the contour lines are just literally defined by whatever the fuck you feel like, you need to rely on a lot of instinct to be able to rotate something like this in space. Like, I don't even know that I'd be able to rotate this super well in space. You know? So it's like... Anyways, I'm going to stop yapping about this, but that's sort of the lesson I want you to take out of this, is if you focus on trying to be able to rotate geometric shapes in space, everything else, all of the understanding of how things work becomes a little bit clearer. It's the best way I could explain it. And this was explained by like a Twitch streamer here. I think his name's Steve Sketches. He mentioned that you're basically what you're doing is you're training your brain to be a 3D software. You're training your brain to be Maya or Blender or whatever. And I think that's the perfect analogy for it. Is you are just getting comfortable with the idea of moving things in space, and that gets you a better appreciation for space and depth. And then you can start doing things a little bit more freehand. But my recommendation would be use grids, use maps, use guides to train yourself and wean yourself off of those guides. But you shouldn't skip ahead to drawing things without guides or reference or grids because you're skipping a lot of fundamental understandings and you're setting yourself up for failure in a lot of ways. Does that make sense? Anyways, I'm gonna share this in the Discord. Let me just look at the orientation of your drawing so I can give you a screenshot based off the proper orientation. So your blue guy's on this side. What the hell am I doing? Screenshot. I'm just taking a screenshot of everything. I'll dump it all in there. Hopefully that gives you a little something to work off of, Mike. Okay, I need to practice a lot of perspective stuff and learn overlap, a lot of overlap, contour lines. I know a bit of it. Yeah, I would say practice cars, things that are more simplified shapes, because cars are always going to be the same. Cars, houses, they're just going to be different varieties of like boxes, right? Like if I take a car, it's basically just a rectangle, right? With another rectangle sticking out the front of it, or a triangle here even. And then another rectangle. It's basically a few boxes together. I'm doing a little bit of a fisheye thing by curving this a little bit, but and then two spheres. That's a car door, right? That's a car. I drew a car in like a couple minutes, not even like a minute. Obviously, it's not pretty. I could go in there and I could tie things down. I could be like, well, what if I want to start adding organic curves to this and stuff? Maybe I've got like a nice modern, sleek, or maybe it's a minivan. Maybe it's the mystery machine from Scooby Doo. So now it's gonna be rounded there. Then there's also gonna be a bumper here, right, and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, you can get creative with it. I think I've only drawn one car before, but it was decent. Well, cars are a good place to start. They're a pretty common thing people practice when they're trying to learn perspective. And then more complex stuff would be things like mechs or whatever. But they'll give you a good understanding of three dimensionality. Honestly, there are things I should be doing a little bit more. I just don't. Maybe I'll start doing like cars and motorcycles and shit. I don't know. Whatever. Who knows? I wasn't very good at like environment design when I was in college, so it's something I've actually like kind of avoided. But maybe I should start doing it now because I feel like my understanding of rotating objects in space has gotten a lot stronger as I've streamed. So it might be worth revisiting environments a little bit more. Mostly motorcycles are very cool to me. I'm not very good at drawing them, but something like that. I don't know what a motorcycle looks like. Anyways, I hope this little strange tangent lesson where we jumped all over the place was beneficial to you. That's my guy. I do kind of want to draw a motorcycle now. Shit. I'm gonna wrap up stream soon though. No motorcycles for today. It always is. Thanks a lot. Oh, no worries, dude. And the thing is, don't just use what I say as sort of the standard. Find tutorials that help things click for you, right? You're not necessarily going to learn best off of just watching my stream or listening to your teacher. Get diverse sources of information trying to teach the same concept, and one of them will click, and they'll give you a more holistic understanding of the thing you're trying to wrap your mind around. So I would encourage always looking at other sources of information other than just one or two people that are telling you how to do things. Because you just don't know what'll help. Okay, let's find somebody to raid. I don't know who this chick is. Let's see. Is she talking? I'm stuck watching an ad till I can know if we could raid this person. Actually, maybe not this person. They're pretty big. Yeah, fuck it. We'll raid somebody big. We've been doing medium-sized people for a while. We'll do a larger channel. I'll probably fall through the cracks. This person does anime shit. Actually, are they even talking? Oh, like they are. Anyways, next person. Maybe we'll do somebody smaller. No, not that person. Okay, we'll raid this person. Actually, wait. Are they talking? I gotta. No, they're not talking. Never mind. We're not raiding this person. God damn it, guys. Talk in your videos. Mm, this person. Okay, this person's talking. We're raiding them. Congratulations, you're getting a raid because you talk. / raid. And then we'll drop this person's name in. There we go. All right, guys. I'll catch you all tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You know the deal. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.